Let's take a quick look at the day. We had a nice push pre-market, as I mentioned in our private community. Very likely that was institutionals just pressing it higher so they could turn around and put some short inventory into the market ahead of the open. By the time the US session opened, we were in a grinder for a bit, and then the market became just fantastic. Some really nice swings. Uh, this setup, I did sell this setup, not really as much from a momentum signal, a momentum burst signal, but I'll show you the scalp dot chart and why I decided to hit that pre-market. Then I took a few trades in here. When I saw that the market was doing this, I just shut the automation off for a while. Then we got this big pump, and I didn't re-engage here. I was a little bit busy, but I did re-engage here. Got a secondary signal. I was already short and into this move and coming down and testing these pivots and pushing a little bit through them. Then I closed out for the day on the one account. I was trading one of the master accounts. I do have a short reel up on the grid algo. I was kind of mainly focused a bit more on the Apex accounts that I've been working since I'm up pretty good on the week on TPT accounts. So anyhow, but yeah, nice big sell-off, came down, did a bit of a W pattern, and then the market has had a bit of a kind of a clean up the day pump, and then right away institutionals are back selling into it, probably layering in short inventory. That's hedge inventory going into the weekend. They want to make sure they have a lot of short inventory on the future side and options positions. And look at this move, for instance. They pumped it pre-market. There wasn't any news or anything. Look where we sold down to, and then we get to the open. And where do we come up on this pump? They came right up to the area, basically just below the linear leg down. So they've layered in shorts here. Then they've layered on shorts here. Then they pumped it all the way up, and now they've layered on shorts here to carry through the weekend. So they have 3 layers of short inventory where they just pulverized buyers. This was just institutionals. This and this are just total. When you see really linear price action and there's no news or no tweet or nothing going on, that's just institutionals, meaning the investment banks, moving a market to an area where they either want to be a buyer or seller. And this grind down here, we had a beautiful W pattern and lift. I had somebody send me an email. They really hit it hard. They did really good on that move. They rode it with some runners and did exceptionally well. But let's go take a look at the scalp dot chart, why I elected to take a shot at that. And then I turned automation on as the market was lifting. It did trigger into a short, and then that thing ran pretty good. And when I saw it break down below these pivot area and get a push, I went flat and called it a day in the one master account that I was trading here. So anyhow, let's go take a look at the scalp dot chart. So here is the scalp dot chart, and you can see we ended the day yesterday. Not much happened in the overnight session, but we got a push pre-market, excursion outside the bands. There's the scalp dot, and I didn't hit it with a lot of size, but it just kept going and going and going. Then we got into the U.S. cash session open period and continued to grind lower before buyers finally came in. There was a little bit of a W pattern and then it lifted. But you got to take a look at this. Bands were down from that high pivot pre-market going forward. Our adaptive price bands have rotated lower. Look at that kickback up. Scalp dot above the mid band, kickbacks against a downtrend. But right in here, seeing the M pattern. So I figured we might double top or we might get a lower pivot high. So I had the automation on and we ended up getting a short mom signal, but you can see there was a scalp dot short there too. Then we came down, we did trade basically from pre-market to afternoon, one-sided the main bands to the other. That's a really good move. And right in here, after we kind of played upon the and having a little bit of excursion outside lower part of the bands, we had a W pattern with a scalp dot, and that lifted. And then, once you know, institutionals pushed it all the way up and just came to the outside of the bands, another scalp dot, as we have a slight excursion outside the bands, and down we go back to mid band. So some really nice, good market, good. I guess you could say, the daily range today was pretty darn good. As I mentioned yesterday, don't be surprised to see the daily ranges expand after we had so many days of institutionals playing their games where they come in and just pump buy programs all day long at any hint of a pullback and just keep grinding it higher, make a new high, park it, grind it higher, make a new high, park it, and so on. That stuff's over with. The Fed news playing out has cleaned that garbage out. We want volatility in these markets, not pump and park day after day where there's no volatility. But yeah, fantastic scalp dot setup on the day there, and overall really good trade day. It started a little bit grinding here, took a while to clean that up, and then we had nice movement pretty much the entire rest of the day. Okay, now I'm going to touch upon something that's pretty important. I've mentioned a few times that there's these key institutional options levels, that it's uncanny where those levels are, where the market will go to those levels in turn. I think they're way more important than any futures levels. They're like way more important. The way institutionals run their buy and sell program activity and the way that they use zero DTE options and regular options as they play markets from one edge of the range to the other. I'm aware now that the TickBlaze platform has a package called the Striker. I think it's Striker something is the name. Those are those options levels. I'm actually I'm getting ready. I have a new PC with a new set of screens that I'm setting up with TickBlaze just to make darn sure I'll have the Striker package up on it. I'm going to shoot a video on that this weekend. I can't tell you guys how key and important these levels have become, and I'm very in tune with how institutions move the markets back and forth in the games they play. That's something I've really dug into over the past 15 years, and I have good friend contacts that traded in very significant institutional firms on the FX side, on the stock market side, and so on. So I'm very familiar with how they played their games in the past, but how they're playing their games these days. And this is a breakthrough to have a retail trade platform and a very high-end retail trade platform like TickBlaze offer this Striker package where a retail trader can go see the activity that these large institutionals now pay a lot of attention to, and basically create support and resistance levels where they go in and flow options activity as they move these markets around. So anyhow, I'll shoot a video on that this weekend, probably tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that. I am absolutely getting excited to have the TickBlaze platform up with those Striker package levels, as I'm also paying attention to the dynamic edges of the market with the Superbands indicator in and amongst working mom signals trades or scalp dot trades. So there you have it. You guys have a fantastic weekend. If you have any questions to me specifically, you can always contact me directly at info@gridalgo.com. If you want access to the system, all the information is at the www.algo-iq.com website. And all the pricing is getting ready to move up. So definitely contact me about our current pricing levels that we have at the website and where they're going to be going to, because I just got off a call, was it yesterday, with the TickBlaze folks, and we're dialing in to set an official, or they're dialing in to give me an official timeline to finally get these TickBlaze tools out that they're working on wrapping up to have their code protection and their activation, deactivation process. So my tools running on TickBlaze with their overwatch of making sure the code's protected, the activation, deactivation process is handled, and a joint venture big time launch campaign that's hopefully will start kicking off next week. So getting ready for that. So there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a fantastic weekend ahead. And watch for that video on the Striker levels that are going to be added and now part of the TickBlaze platform. Talk to y'all later.